Please.
Hello, Kenneth.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Kenneth. Please keep it short and straight to the point.
Hello?
Hello, Kenneth. Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, and thanks for bringing the two gentlemen to the table this morning. I want to say passionately that looking at the whole scenario concerning the two, one major area where we Nigerians are looking at too is in the area of corruption. I think, unfortunately, the present administration has been able to tackle. And that is the area where most Nigerians are looking at the flop presently. Take, for instance, the immigration issue incident that happened some time ago. Nobody has been brought to book. The minister is there enjoying himself. Look at the pension money that was taken away. Nobody has been, nothing was done to this man. Look at a man was called to be part and parcel of sponsoring this agency. For crying out loud, nothing has been done. It's quite unfortunate that the president has a good intention, but it's a loophole whereby he cannot handle this correctly. In the area of the economy, and I wonder when people say our economy is growing, there's the largest in Africa. There are so many people on the street that are still hungry. If it doesn't we have on each table. So where is the economy growing? So, no, the economy is not growing. And for the second time, the PT5 has always mentioned that bringing a general to the table will not help because they have never bought an ammunition for the military. Please, I want to ask him, when he was there, was Nigeria not school? There was no insurgency problem. We don't have any reason to buy any weapon at that particular time. This is my contribution. Please.
All right, thank you very much, Kenneth.
Thank you very much. If I may just
quickly
from there,
before he has to finish his thoughts.
I think he has because there are two questions.
No, he hasn't finished.
I need to because we will just lose the trend. Yeah, quickly too. Now, in terms of what the caller said, I thank him. And he has really repeated everything that I've said about the economy not moving, not growing, because we don't go by the statistics that are bandied before us. We go by the faces of Nigerians on the streets. Now, the agricultural, the hype in the agric sector that they say it has improved so dramatically that we are almost, as my brother said, at near self-sufficiency in food production. Why has this food production not manifested in the prices of food in the market? Why? Now, he said the rice production, we are almost self-sufficiency. Why do we still keep importing rice? As at last Christmas, of course, everybody knows imported rice filled the entire landscape.
But did the price increase or reduce?
Of course, it did not reduce at all.
It did not reduce?
It did not reduce. They were all imported. It did not reduce. Now, the point is, by the time you said food production, self-sufficiency, and you have food security, hardly would people go hungry. Now, we are not saying that there shouldn't be rich people in the society. No, that's not even what our candidate is saying. You can be rich if you do your legitimate business in a conducive environment. But what most of the rich people in their own party are just, there who constitute the parasitic elite sucking the blood of Nigeria.
What about what Mr. Yusuf said earlier about Lagos?
Mr. Yusuf said about Lagos, of course, we also know where he's coming from. Except you are being hypocritical and you do not want to acknowledge the truth in Nigeria today. If you want to measure states that are performing, I doubt anybody in good conscience will not mention Lagos before mentioning any other state. It's just commonsensical. We don't need rocket science to measure that. Secondly is the fact that General Buhari was head of state 30 years ago. And 2 days ago, if you read the dailies, there was a statement I issued making a comparative analysis of budgetary expenditure on military equipment. And it came out from that analysis that General Buhari spent close to 38% of the budget on military equipment. Now, let us even assume that he bought all those military equipment at that time. Will we still be using 30-year-old military equipment today?
Okay.
That's one. Please, let me finish this point. That's one. Two, have you forgotten that in the last 16 years, my brother's party has been at the center, in charge of the military, in charge of the revenue, in charge of the budget? Does it then mean, or are they not telling us that they have not equipped the military? And coming home specifically, this present administration and the present president has been on the saddle for the last 6 years. And the same president, the same administration is saying previous governments did not equip the military. That is self-immolation, self-indicting. Because you've been there for 6 years. What have you done in the last 6 years to equip the military? Okay. How long does it take to equip the military?
All right.
No.
Mr. Shomi, Mr. Shomi was going to respond to that. Then there's a question we need to ask because they are asked to round up. So respond so that we can go. Okay, let's look at, we've talked about both sides, what has been, what has not been, or what is going to be. But in Abuja this past week, all the political parties signed a peace pact.
Yes.
All pointing to one thing: credible elections, peaceful elections. And Nigerians expect credible elections. Now, between the two of you, yes, would that peace pact translate to credible elections and free, violence-free elections post the elections?
I trust my president. His antecedents, since he has been president of this country, in managing the electoral process, suggests that he's a credible man. And his body language and the attitude he has even had to security suggests that he's not the man who loves brigandage. Ditto. Let us reverse back to their candidate. Every time, between 1999 to date, he has gone for election. It has always been incisive comments, threats of blood will spill, the country will be ungovernable every 4 years. When Jonathan has been president, we have been conducting elections, staggered election in other regions. Under our watch, opposition has won elections in the state and we are handed over. Under their watch, locations that are local elections that they have been able to manage, they have not been able to deliver one to opposition. Is that supposed to suggest that while they are managing their state electoral commissions, everything is always 100% theirs? Look, the characters and the sports of a leopard will never leave them. All that Nigerians need to know, hold on, all that Nigerians need to know is that the people that they are bringing forward cannot be trusted, especially when you look at the platform that they are using. This is a platform that between 1999 to date, they have had reason to be changing their names almost every 4 years. First as AD, then as ACN, then as whatever else, and now they're calling themselves APC. Whereas this People's Democratic Party has had the same name for consistency in the last. And I want to say, because you gave him enough time, I want to say that look, the options available to Nigerians is to ask, is there an illusion within their system that they do not have young people who are prepared, able to be presidents, having come out from their governorship class, that they may, just like they said, 30-year-old equipment can be obsolete. Can a man who, as president 30 years ago, could not manage the Nigerian economy, could not grow it, that his colleagues had to even push him aside, now be expected not to have obsolete brain?
All right, Mr. Alaki, we're out of time. Mr. Alaki.
Your fundamental question is about the peaceful and credible elections. I want to state categorically on behalf of my own party and our candidate and the ticket that we have subscribed to ensuring credible election and credible violent-free elections and aftermath. But with a rider, and the rider is that we are not in government. We do not own or control the coercive organization or agencies of state, or even the agencies or institutions of state responsible for conducting a free and fair election. So the onus of ensuring a free and fair election, peaceful election, is on the government, the current government. They control all the institutions and they control and direct all the agencies. That's one. But on our own part, as long as the elections are free and fair, we pledge a violence-free election. Now, to debunk the assertions of my brother, since General Buhari had been contesting elections, he had never been an advocate of violence. In fact, it has been people in the PDP, and these are on record in the media, that have been calling for this bloodletting and all that. And then let me bring you back to the fact that the special advisor to the president on media, Dr. Ruben Abati, did write in the Guardian that General Buhari called for violence. And General Buhari went to court, got judgment against Dr. Abati, and the government appealed to General Buhari to settle the issue out of
Thank you very much. Thank you. We have to close. Thank you, Mr. Alaki. Thank you, Mr. Shomi. We've been looking at the campaign trail expectations from the political parties vis-a-vis the next election and the peace pact they just signed. Mr. Alaki.
Thank you very much.
Director, Strategic Communication, Buhari Campaign Organization, Segun Shomi, Deputy Director General, Ogun PDP Campaign Committee. Thank you for coming, gentlemen. We'll take a break. I'll return for another segment, staying with the elections. Please join us again.